You started an affiliate program. You got into affiliate management because you love it. You believe in what you're doing. You love seeing affiliates succeed. But right now, you're running on fumes. You got 47 different things on your plate. You got affiliates texting you at all hours. It feels like every day brings 3 new fires to put out. Sound familiar? Look, if you've ever caught yourself thinking, I can't keep doing this, you're not broken. You're just burned out. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. This episode is your survival guide for affiliate manager burnout, what it really looks like, why it happens, and most importantly, what to do about it. Because here's the thing, you don't have to choose between loving your job and actually having a life. If you're ready to take your affiliate program and your business to the next level, well, you're in the right place. I'm Matt McWilliams, best-selling author and 4-time affiliate manager of the year, and I've built dozens of affiliate programs from the ground up to over $1 million a month. I'm here to show you how you can do it too. Let's get started. So we're talking about something different today, something important, something that I have been asked repeatedly to discuss. I would say I've been asked since I'd asked a little bit pre-pandemic. I'd say maybe once a quarter, 4 or 5 times a year. Somebody would say like this, I think this would be a really good episode. And I'm like, okay, well, 4 or 5 times a year is not really a lot. Like there are some episodes I've done where I got asked, 10 times in a week and a half, basically every day. And there's others where, I'm asked 5, 6 times a month consistently. This wasn't something I was asked a ton about pre-pandemic, but I was asked. And so it was kind of on my radar. And then during the pandemic, it really started to increase. And interestingly enough, over the last 2 years, it's really ramped up. And I get asked this by people who are full-time affiliate managers. And what they do for a living is nothing but affiliate management. But also people who are doing an affiliate program as part of their job. Or they're a small business owner. And affiliate management started as something they did an hour a day. And as the program grew, it became 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. And this is what happened to me, when I started my first affiliate program, and I've shared this story many times, but as we grew it from scratch, and I was spending like an hour a day, I was young and I was working 12 hours a day on other stuff. So what the heck, what's an extra hour a day? What's a 13th hour a day, 6, 7 days a week at that point, as we were starting our business. But all of a sudden, 6 months later, we're doing, 225,000 a month. And I realized I was doing it like 4 hours a day, and my other stuff wasn't slowing down. I was still running the sales department. I was still running the marketing. I was still managing our team. I was still running operations. All of a sudden, I'm like, I'm working 15 hours a day. And, when we first started, I was working like 6 days a week. And then on Sundays, I'd work, a couple of hours. Now all of a sudden I was working 10, 12 hours on Sundays. And I'm like, I can't keep this up. And then as it grew and grew, and it got to $500,000, I had to let some other stuff go, but I was still working 15 hours a day. And then all of a sudden, like, it was truly a full-time and a half job. And finally we were able to hire some people, to help me out. But the thing is, like, burnout, it doesn't always hit like a lightning bolt. Like my story, it creeps in slowly. It starts with maybe you don't normally check Slack at dinner, but now you are. And then you're doing a few emails in bed, just a few. I'm going to just spend 10 minutes. And we've all been there, to be clear. There are times where that's okay. When you're running your annual launch and for 10 days, you're working 16 hours a day, that's acceptable. And we all have seasons where it's like, okay, this 4-week sprint here, it's Q4. This is 50, 60% of our annual revenue. And so for these 4 weeks, I'm going to be working extra. And I, I've talked about this before, like I communicate to my family that daddy is going to be busy for a while and want to let you know that, right? But it starts happening with regularity. It's not just your busy month. It's not just the once or twice a year launch. It's not just because this week, for the first time in 3 years, something blew up and I've got to work some extra hours. It gets to the point where you're answering the same affiliate questions over and over again. it gets to the point where you can't remember the last time you did something proactive instead of reacting to 100 things at once. That's the problem, is when you're burnt out, when you reach this point, you're no longer proactive, you are only reactive. And so if you've ever been in a position where you feel guilty taking a full weekend off, that's a problem. If instead of celebrating that you got a new affiliate, it's just more work, that's a problem. If you're always on, but you're never caught up, that's a problem. If any of those sound familiar, I first want to encourage you, okay? I want to first encourage you. That's not weakness. That is being human. You're simply stretched too thin. So let's say the quiet part out loud, right? About affiliate management. Yeah, you can do it in an hour a day, and you can build a successful affiliate program in an hour a day. I've talked about that. I'm not saying you're going to build a six-figure affiliate program in an hour a day, because you're not. But you can build something pretty good in an hour a day. But I'm going to tell you the quiet part out loud, and that is this job is hard, and no one tells you how to survive it. There's a thing in our culture that I believe in. I believe in hustle. I believe in working hard. I believe in working focused. I believe, for example, when I coach my soccer teams, I want them to be exhausted. I told them yesterday at practice that you guys look great about halfway through. Why? Because they were bent over and dripping sweat. And it wasn't a particularly warm day. It was like 80 degrees, but they were drenched. Why is that good? Because in practice, for those 2 hours, we are going to work hard so that we can be good in games. That's not what I'm talking about. There's this mythology that you're lazy for needing rest. You're not. Taking rest is smart. Okay? You don't owe anyone 24/7 access just because you care. All right? Hustling is not the same as being effective. Your value is not in how fast you respond, it's in how well you lead your affiliates. So rest is part of the job. Yes, there is a time when speed is critical. That busy 2 weeks, that busy 3 weeks, that busy launch, speed is important. In a 14-day launch, when you really are doing you're working 13, 14 hours a day, and I've done episodes on how to manage that. By the way, I've done those episodes where I talk about how to manage that and not burn out in that short period of time. I'll give you the super quick synopsis of that. Basically, it's to block your time and to work for like 2.5 hours, but then take a break. I talk about how when I'm in a really busy season and we're doing a busy launch and it's 14 days of go, 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 I'll work, get up and I'll start working at 7:30, and then I'll work till 9:30 or 10, and then I'll do my workout. I won't check email for that hour and a half. And that's okay. If somebody has to wait 47 minutes to get a response from me, that's okay. That's acceptable. They can't wait 24 hours. Not during a launch, not during the busy season. And then, I'll work for like another hour and a half, 2 hours. I'll eat some lunch, maybe go for a quick walk. Then and I'll do that throughout the day, basically the whole day. But again, your value is not normally 320 days out of the year, 340 days out of the year. It's not in how fast you respond, it's how well you lead. Rest is a part of the job. Boundaries are a part of the job. They are a strategy. You're not a robot, right? You cannot go 24/7, 365. And so nobody talks about that. It's hard. When you're building a big affiliate program, it is hard. It's really easy to get burned out. And so we hear burnout and we think, okay, that's mental health. Burnout is mental health, and it is. I am not here to talk about your mental health. I am not qualified. Yes, I majored in psychology for 2 whole years in college. Yippee. I know a little bit more about mental health than the average person, but that's about as far as it goes. I'm talking about how it impacts your program. Affiliates can feel when you're disengaged. So can your boss, by the way, if you have one, right? The growth slows, the communication slows. You, like I said earlier, you get reactive. You miss opportunities. You don't do as many of the fun things as you did. And I've been there, done that. I have been there, done that. with pretty much everything that I've reached about the 3-year point in. And it's no surprise that that's when most affiliate managers burn out, is in the 3rd year. And they need to know how to overcome that burnout. Because again, it's going to affect the bottom line. So sometimes the best thing you can do, not during that busy time, not during that launch, but sometimes the best thing you can, I'll take that back. Sometimes the best thing you can do during that launch is to take an hour break or 2-hour break. But sometimes the best thing you can do overall is to take the weekend off, to take a 3-day weekend, to take a full week off periodically. And so we're going to talk about how to do that here, some of the strategies for burnout survival. I did a lot of research for this. And if this sounds like, it's a little bit of a personal episode, that's because it is. It's the stuff that I went through. I've been doing this for 20 years. So newsflash, I've been through this about 5 or 6 times where I was burned out. The very first time was that first affiliate program that I mentioned, where I just got to the point where I could not handle everything that I had going on in the company. I was one of the founders of the company, so I was on the executive board, and all of a sudden, I managed a team of 15 total people, along with the 3 of us managing a team of over 50, and I was managing quality control and our programmers and and the affiliate program, and I was running operations, and it was too much. I was overwhelmed, and it felt like no day was different than the previous day. And so here's what happened, just both mentally and physically, emotionally, but also in this, I don't know how else to say this, but in a spiritual sense of my connection to the company and the mission that I had, because I started off, we were on mission. And by about year 2.5-ish, every day felt the same. And so I went from, operating, say, at a level in the mid 90s to the next month I was operating at a 93. A couple weeks later, I was at a 91, and then a 90. And all of a sudden I realized, I was just coming in every day and operating in the low 70s. That's not acceptable to me. I'm a high performer. That's how I identify as a high performer. So operating at what amounts to a low C in terms of a grade level, was not acceptable to me. And the thing is, as we'll talk about here in a second, I would have been better served taking some time off to come back in those that 95, 97, 98 range. So instead of my team, my company, my partners, my affiliates getting everyday Matt at a lower and lower level, already in the low 70s, trending towards the mid 60s, trending towards a failing grade, I'd have been better off just taking some time off and coming back and being at close to 100%. I mean, just think about it mathematically. Which of the following is a better grade? If you make a 65 on 5 papers, or maybe you skip a paper, you skip a test, but you make 100 or 95 on the other 4, you're going to make a better grade. No, I'm not suggesting you skip tests. That's not the point. So let's talk about some of the strategies. These are strategies that I've used, strategies that I found in some of my research as I talk to other affiliate managers, and dug in just kind of to the overall burnout stuff as well. Some of these things are things, like I said, I have used, but some of these are also things that I wish that I had used and will be using in the future, because you know what? I'm going to hit that point again, even though I'm better about not getting to that point. So here are 10 things, 10 moves you can make right now to reclaim the energy and stay in this game for the long term. That's the point here. So number 1, set real working hours. Real work. I don't care if you're an agency owner running someone's affiliate program, you're the boss, you're an employee. I want you to set real working hours and protect them. Block them off. Communicate them to affiliates and enforce them. So for me, my working hours, they're basically in the 8 to 6 range. So I might be done at 5:30 some days for soccer, or even 5:15. I might not start till 8:15, but I'm not working outside of 8 to 6. You're not a 911 operator, right? Nobody is going to die if you don't get back to them right away. You're not on call every hour of every day. So again, there's exceptions to the rule that you plan for. The exceptions, again, big launch, big promo, busiest time of the year, where we plan for that. And so for me, what that means is, I've run $50 million launches, right? I know going into it, I'm just going to make up the dates here. August 1st to August 15th is going to be unbelievably busy. And during that time, I'm going to be working 13 hours a day, all 14 days. So what do I do in advance of that? Well, the week before is also pretty busy, but I don't need to be like 13 hours a day. And, I can probably take off a full day and get some recharge the batteries. And I might work, 8 or 9 hours to get ready for that week. And I'll do that. But 10, 12 days before, I like to take a 4-day vacation. And I, just depending upon how everything falls, I take, like a Friday through Monday off. And my family and I just enjoy some downtime. No work, no checking of anything. If you need me for some reason, if the business catches on, the proverbial fire, text me and we'll figure it out. But usually nobody needs me and I'm completely left alone and I get to recharge. And so when I come back the next day, I'm at 100. By the end of that launch, I'm in the mid 70s. But the thing is, if I didn't take those 4 days off by the end of the launch, I would be in the 30s or 40s. It would be torture. So set those real working hours and protect them. All right, number 2, very simple, practical thing here. Build a living FAQ for your affiliates. Here's my rule. If you have answered it more than twice, it belongs in the FAQ. Create a doc, a page, create a video, train affiliates to self-serve and reduce that load. Again, if you've only got 30 affiliates, first of all, you're not going to be burned out, But when you reach the point where you got thousands of affiliates, as much as possible, provide tools for them where they can get answers to those questions themselves. Same goes for, a VA. If you've got a good VA, they can answer most of these questions from your FAQ. So it takes a little bit of time on the front end, but I like to train my VAs when I'm in the 90s, not when I'm in the 70s. Because when I do it when I'm in the 70s, I'm short. I don't go into detail. But when I do it when I'm in the 90s, I'm detailed with them and they don't have questions. So whether you're training a VA to answer using the FAQ, or you're training affiliates to kind of self-serve, build that FAQ. If you get asked a question more than once, more than twice, create it as an FAQ. I mean, if you get asked twice in the first day, well, then go ahead and create an FAQ for that. Number 3, automate as much as possible, especially onboarding. All right. So create an email sequence. It's going to look the same for most affiliates. Give them a welcome video, some PDFs. Let new affiliates hit the ground running without you manually walking them through it. Again, early days, you manually walk them through it. That's how you learn what to automate. But you start to notice, gosh, I'm saying the same thing about this. And so instead of having a 30-minute phone call with an affiliate where you spend 25 minutes on tactics, you have a 20-minute phone call where you spend 10 minutes getting to know them and building rapport. So you get to do more of that. And then you spend 10 minutes helping them with a few things. And you say, listen, I'm going to send you a video that I did, a couple months ago that'll walk you through blah, blah, blah. And you send them that video. So that's 10 minutes less that you're on the phone, but 5 minutes more rapport building and a lot less stress on you. All right, number 4, batch. All right, batch as much as possible. This goes back to something I talked about when I talked about getting ready for those busy times, big launch, big promo, busiest time of year. If you can do some of the work in advance, writing emails, recording videos, things like that, batch those. Okay, so for me, we've all heard of this, right? I try to theme my days. I have one day where I write all of the emails. Now, does it end up being all of the emails? Are there literally only 52 days a year that I write emails? Of course not. I probably write emails 100 days out of the year. Maybe, yeah, probably about 100 is about how often I write an email. Well, how is that? Well, there's going to be a lot of times throughout the year where something comes up and I have to add one. But let's say that my goal for a client is to send 3 emails in a week. And I have 5 clients. That's 15 emails. If I write 10 of them on Monday, usually I write them the week. So for me, it actually be Thursday. If I write 10 emails on Thursday for the next week, I only have to write 5 the next week. So I leave space for things to come up. And I try not to write in advance too many emails where I think, well, if this got moved back a couple of days because something came up, would it be completely useless? In other words, I'm not going to pre-write typically, Memorial Day sale email more than a day or two in advance, because then if something did happen, where something trumped the Memorial Day sale, which would be kind of a weird thing to happen. So this is not the greatest example. Then that Memorial Day sale email I wrote is completely wasted. Now, I've mentioned before, like Affiliate Email Pro, the cool thing about Affiliate Email Pro is, okay, if I did waste it, I wasted all of 90 seconds creating that email because it makes it stupid easy to write these emails. And so definitely check that out. I'll put a link in the show notes. But either way, batch content. So have a day where you write emails. Have maybe another day where you spend on proactive reach outs, and another day that's all about recruiting, and another day that's all about like communicating with your leadership or your client or whatever it is. So you theme the days. Does that mean you theme all 8 hours? No. Or 9 hours or whatever? No. But you theme 5, 6 of the hours. And so, yeah, now that like writing those 10 emails takes me 25 minutes with maybe a half an hour with Affiliate Email Pro, I don't really have a day where that's my theme. So it's a little bit less relevant now, but as much as possible, batch things. So I do have an email like, doing like Facebook posts in the Facebook groups for the affiliate programs. I want to do 2 of those a week. Those typically take about 15 minutes each, even with AI now, because I'll use Affiliate Email Pro to write those, because it also writes Facebook group messages, and I'll write those messages, and then I'll create an image using AI. But then I have to schedule it in Facebook, and it takes 10 to 15 minutes each, and so that's part of my email time now. And then I do some other stuff like what kind of emails I want to send in terms of recruiting emails and stuff like that. And yeah, it's like in total, it's probably 3 hours that I spend doing that, but I do it pretty consistently on the same day every week. And then I don't have to worry about very much of it the rest of the week. The most important thing here is just not to be bouncing around from task to task, because it's just not a way, it's not healthy. All right, number 5, if you are not your own boss, and even if you are, set expectations with leadership, set expectations with your family, set expectations with your team members. Let them know what you need to succeed. Maybe it's certain tools. Maybe you need, if you're an affiliate manager, Affiliate Email Pro is, for example, is like $50 a month. It's not quite that much. I think you can, it's like $250 a year. It's pretty cheap. I would pay for it out of my own pocket if I were you, but why not ask them? Hey, here's a tool that is going to save me 5 hours a week that I can spend building relationships with affiliates. Would you consider buying it for me? If it's, if it's a good camera to record videos for your affiliates, ask. And like, instead of trying to duct tape things together and record, chintzy ones, maybe it's another team member. Maybe it's hiring a part-time assistant. Now, again, this is one of those things where if you hire overseas at say $10 an hour, I've done it. When I was working for one company, years ago, I paid $100 a week out of my own pocket for an assistant, because I couldn't get one paid for by our company, but it was worth $5,000 a year for me to have them do a bunch of the tasks that I didn't want to do, wasn't very good at, and were a little bit slow and, whatever for me. And it freed me up, and I probably netted 15 to 25,000 doing that. So again, there might be an opportunity there for you to pay for it out of your own pocket, but why not ask first? Like, don't wait until you're drowning. Ask when you're in the high 80s or low 90s. Ask like, hey boss, I can already tell that this thing is taking longer than I expected. And here's a tool that I believe will help me. Can I try it out? Can I get a trial? It's $50 a month or whatever, and try it out. Number 6, this is something, okay, this is one of those things that I've done since, I think I started doing it like 2010, I think it was 2010, might have been 2009. Actually, it was late 2009. I would spend every day, and I still do it to this day, takes 30 seconds. I review my wins. I look back. So for me, I'll tell you how I do it in a second, but this is the idea here, is just to keep a running list of wins, big or small. Burnout, one of the things it does is it clouds our vision. It blurs the progress that we've made. So we want to celebrate what's working so we can build on it. The other thing is it reminds us of how far we've come. It's kind of like a friend of mine, Alan Thomas, one of the reasons why his clients, he's a weight loss coach, when they report in, they say, here's how much I've lost in the last 7 days, the last 30 days, and like the last, since the beginning. And sometimes you hit these plateaus and you've only lost, somebody might have started off at 400 pounds and they're down to 227 and they want to get down to 200 and they've only lost 1.2 pounds in the last 30 days. Okay, that can feel like, gosh, I only lost 1.2 pounds in 30, like, oh man, but you've lost 168 pounds since you started. And we look at that as a win, right? So what I do is I'll just look at my list that I made. I write them down every day, super quick. Again, 30 seconds, maybe a minute per day. How have I won in the last 24 hours? Oh my gosh, these 3 things have happened, and I've already forgotten 2 of them. I look at my wins from 7 days ago, and I look at my wins from 30 days ago. That's it. And I just review. You know what? That's awesome. And that tends to help with burnout. Number 7, I've talked about tools, but I did a whole series on this. Use AI. Like, don't be afraid of AI. Don't be afraid of something like Affiliate Email Pro, where it can literally just write the emails for you once you've trained it. And it doesn't take but half an hour it's pre-trained with 3,000 or 4,000, whatever we're up to now, of the best affiliate emails that have ever been sent. But just use it to write emails, do reports for your clients, to answer FAQs. I have an ongoing chat. I think I mentioned this in that series. I did a 6-part series on using AI as an affiliate manager. And one of the ones I talked about was I'll write here's how this affiliate asked me this question. Here's how I answered it. Here was their follow-up. Here was my response. Here was their follow-up. Here was my response. And I haven't heard back from them about it. And I like a good follow-up. Now, could I write something? Yeah. Is it going to be the best? No. Can AI do better? Yeah. And does it take half as much time? Yeah. So I wrote a really killer follow-up email to that affiliate, and it took me 2.5 minutes instead of 10. I have saved 7.5 minutes. If I save 7.5 minutes a day, every day of the week, that's over half an hour of my life. Half an hour over the course of 52 weeks a year, if I'm not mistaken, is pretty much an entire work week. And it takes the stress off of me. So come on, use AI. Go back, listen to that whole series. Again, 6 episodes on how I use AI to run affiliate programs and how you should be. So go listen for some ideas. Just start implementing them one at a time. Don't get crazy. But if you implement one idea that saves you 30 minutes a week, and then another idea that saves you 30 minutes a week, and then one that saves you 30 minutes a day, and then another one, it starts adding up. Like Affiliate Email Pro is saving people 4, 5, 6 hours a week. Like people who run a lot of affiliate programs, like agency owners and stuff, saving them 10 hours a week. It's crazy. And it's just AI. So number 8 is put think time on your calendar like it's a meeting. 1 hour a week. I prefer midday Wednesday, right in the dead center of the week. I'm far enough into the week where I've had some stuff go wrong, but I'm not so far into the week where I can't take this time and then act on it in the remainder of the week. And I put it on my calendar. It's 4 to 5 every Wednesday. Right now it's 3:45 to 4:45 because I'm in the middle of soccer season. So for the next like 2 months, it's 3:45 to 4:45. Normally it's 4 to 5. It's on my calendar. No, my assistant knows we are not scheduling a meeting then. If you want to schedule a phone call with me, well, you already know now. Don't try to book it from, that time range, right? It's not optional. And you want to take that time, put it on your calendar. This is it, like it's a meeting. You are meeting with yourself and you are planning. And here's the deal, my rule, you're done in 27 minutes, then you just bought yourself. Don't think I got 33 minutes to check email. No, I would suggest going for a walk. I would suggest, lying down or whatever, like rest. Because not only about burnout, but like you meet with yourself for 27 minutes and then you go for a walk. I guarantee you'll think of something else. Whereas if you just jump right back into work, you have no time for margin there. Number 9, start saying no. Not every affiliate idea, not every thing that your boss comes to you with or a teammate comes to you with or an affiliate comes to you with is worth saying yes to. Practice saying not right now and mean it. Okay, this is important. You want to let them down easy? Not right now. That's not a good idea for us right now. And then the final thing is, again, we all know these things, right? We know this, but are you doing it? Build a mastermind or a peer support circle or whatever you want to call it, right? I call them masterminds. 2, 3, 4 other affiliate managers. Check in monthly, share wins, ask questions, remind each other you're not alone. If you're looking for a good one, we have AM Club, and it's very, very simple. You've actually got access to me as well in AM Club. And it's just, we'll just meet. And sometimes there's just 3 of us and we'll talk and we'll solve we'll solve a problem or 2. If nothing else, you get your biggest problem solved every week. I mean, like what a burden that is, like to just unpack, right? And get it off your shoulders. And the thing is, like, everybody else has probably been there, or at least one other person has been where you're at right now. I think it's from like Alcoholics Anonymous, where they talk about like, the 2 men, walking by the pit and, the one guy's down in the pit and the other one gets down with him. He's like, well, why'd you do that? And he goes, because I've been here and I know the way out. I mean, there's not a whole lot that you could go through that I haven't been through. And what I haven't been through, somebody else has been through. So get together with other affiliate managers. If you're looking for a group, AM Club, I'll put the link in the show notes. But honestly, I mean, you can go find, a couple other people and just meet once every, week or month or 2 weeks or whatever. And it doesn't have to be a big production. Sometimes we meet for 45 minutes and we're done. Sometimes we go a full hour. If we're done after 45 minutes, we stop talking and end the Zoom call and go about our lives. But again, if we're done early, I always tell them like, okay, take 15 minutes, go for a walk. Think about what we just talked about. Don't just jump right into your next meeting or write an email or do any of that stuff. So listen, you're doing more than you think. Right? You're holding the program together. There might, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of people, whatever. And no one builds something sustainable by burning themselves out. You can't burn the candle on both ends, as they say. So I want you to take one of these 10 things, just one. Give yourself permission to implement it this week. Then we can do a second one next week. So just pick one thing. It might be the last one we talked about, starting a little mastermind or joining AM Club. It might be getting Affiliate Email Pro. It might be just setting your work hours and sticking to them for the first week, or building that FAQ, or deciding like, Monday's the day that I'm going to spend, or Tuesday's the day I'm going to spend writing emails so I can just kind of knock that out and not have them hanging over me all week. I don't know, putting an hour on your calendar to meet with yourself. Just pick one thing, implement it this week, and then do the next thing the next week and so on. Because we need affiliate managers. We need good affiliate managers. This is becoming too big of an industry to have burnt out affiliate managers. So we need you rested. We need you on your A game. So you got this. You got this. All right. Listen, if you got value out of this, make sure you share it with somebody who you think needs to hear this message. If you've got questions about this or anything else, you can text me anytime at 260-217-4619. And lastly, make sure if you haven't hit subscribe yet that you do, because the next few episodes are going to be good. I know I keep saying that because they are. So make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening today. If you know someone who would benefit from hearing this episode, make sure to share it with them. And if you have a question, you can ask it at asktheaffiliateguy.com. Questions make my best episode, and it's a great way to get featured right here on the podcast. And if you're loving what you're hearing, please take a moment to leave a rating and review. That helps others find this content so we can all benefit from it. See you soon.